This week, we were able to visit a large international art exhibit in the north of Toulouse. It was just as I imagined it would be. Art everywhere, and all kinds. I was drawn mostly to bright colored canvases with textured strokes, beautiful stories or poems, and expressive faces. It really made my day, even though it took about 3 hours to walk through. I spoke to 3 artists beforehand that told me they would be in the exhibit, but ironically, I never ended up speaking with any of them. I loved seeing their work in person, but there were 2 artists whose work stood out most to me, and I never really knew who they were before. The first was Melvin Perard. He creates art using string and wooden circles. It sounds basic until you see how he creates it. Melvin is an engineer that designed a computer-operated automatic robot that can precisely create an image in under 2 hours. I was so happy to see someone that created art in a new way. This is inspiring to onlookers, I'm sure, to find a way to create art outside of the norm. The second was Daniela Hunter. She was a new exhibitor, and her work was closest to my heart. Her work was oil and acrylic on canvas, usually with female and whimsical subjects. When I spoke with Daniela, I told her that her exhibit was like a story in itself, a gorgeous, heartwarming, and becoming-of-age story. I knew for certain, if I had a permanent place for living, her work would be the first to be purchased. Both Daniela and Melvin reminded me of 2 things. The first is that art has no restrictions. It can be based on what you make and how you tell the story, or on how you make the work. Regardless, multidisciplinaries have an art form of their own. That is to show who they are and where they've been. As someone who writes poetry, short stories, and personal letters, it is amazing when I connect with others who see the art but actually take time to read its pairing. Sometimes the words are in the description below, and other times I embed poetry and letters into the work itself. My Illumination collection is a perfect example of this. The second is that you do not have to create the way social media or society tells you to. Often, I was told that art had to be done with traditional materials to portray realistic images. I would always wonder why this is the highest value of creation. Why not things that are made with unusual tools and images that aren't perfect, yet still encompassing the intended subject? This is a beautiful form of artwork and by far my favorite way to see art, in its own unique way.
I can hear her now, she may not be here, but she's still mine, I know. She still loves me. Got my children, I can hold them now. They may not be here.
My most favorite thing about creating is not just how it looks or how it's made, but the story behind it or attached to it. This draws me into both the artwork and the artist. I'm able to learn about how they tell a story, the words and aspects that they find most interesting, and by asking them about it, I'm able to learn more about them and their journey.
And you'll find love any day. I'll feel.
So if I'm the first and only person to tell you all of this, let it be that way. You are not required to create in any way you may think is deemed worthy of value or praise. The most valuable thing is making art in a way that hits closest to home for you and brings you out to share your story and your most vulnerable connections with others. Whether you care deeply about wildlife conservation, women's rights, or even other artists having a space to share their creations, the story behind your creations has value. Your work has value, and I'm certainly glad to be the one to witness it firsthand.
They have stolen the heart from inside you, but this cannot define you. This is not who you are. You know who you are.
Hello people, I just wanted to give you a quick update. I hope you enjoyed the video that you saw. I thoroughly enjoyed the art exhibit. It went on for 3 days straight. We had what I call a wonderful angel who decided to, sorry for the water running in the back, but Anthony's taking a shower. We were blessed by a guardian angel, whoever he might be, who gifted us with an invitation to the art exhibit. So we were able to go and see what art was there, and I was pretty excited about that. We do not know who that gentleman was, so if you just happen upon my video, we want to thank you. If you saw a young couple coming into the art exhibit, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very glad we were able to go and see the different art that was inside. Like I mentioned, Daniela and Melvin were by far my favorite artists there. The most creative, the most intuitive, and the most innovative. And I'm very glad we were able to go and see that. This week, I don't really have much planned, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to be coming up or what, but I'm still going to be working on watercolor postcards and poems. I'm also going to be releasing some poetry on TikTok, as well as like voicing them, sometimes performing them. I don't know yet, we'll see. It takes some memorization and some practice for that, so we'll see. What else? I've started posting very bad singing on TikTok, not really on purpose, but I'm just like genuinely trying to sing. And even on here, you might have heard me singing I'm Here and Alfie. Those are a bit of a stretch because they're very much not on my level for singing, but I thought I would take it. I thought I would try anyway, because why not? And I definitely failed in a lot of areas. You might have heard, or you might have muted me or turned the volume down. I'm not offended. I have a lot to work on, so I'm hoping to get better, basically to get back where I was, and or to advance further than I've ever been. So who knows? Anyhow, thanks for sticking around, guys, and I'm wishing you wonder and room to be yourself from this side of the world. Adios.